Hello again, fitted furniture makers, and Happy New Year 2024. Something I'd like to restart this year is the public YouTube videos, the sort of video that a lot of people liked in the early days and I haven't done so much of. So how can you be involved in that? Well, look out for a poll where I will propose subjects that I have the footage for and I think will be interesting, but I would like your feedback as members on which video to start with. And then once I've edited that up, it will be released first without ads on the membership site and later on the YouTube site. So that's the deal. Let me know what you think about that. So onto the subject of today's video. How do you grow a successful and sustainable business as a fitted furniture maker if you are not a natural leader? Well, of course, there are many aspects to the answer to that, and that's why it can be so intimidating. And the aspects include certainly marketing, as I've talked about a lot in the pro tier, certainly processes and systems. So, I mean, as a little example of that, we've settled on a standard way of assembling drawer boxes, and there's a process to that, and there's an efficiency and a reason why we've done that. But all of this, I would suggest, is secondary. So what is the underlying key to building a business that's going to work out for you? In my opinion, it is to know what your values are and to embed those values in the business and to build a team who share those values, or at least are open to coming on board with those values. What I'm getting at really is that sustainability won't come unless the founder of the business who must drive it forwards is really invested in what they're doing. And to be invested in what you're doing, you need to align what you do with your values and with your passion. You need to know why you're doing it, and you need to resist drifting away from that why, which very easily happens under the strain of running a business. The very worst thing you could do is to copy the way someone else does something if you are not also feeling the passion that they feel that has motivated them to do that thing in that way. You've got to start with that driving force of wanting to do the thing that you're doing. And then if that is working for you, all of this surrounding stuff, all of this secondary stuff of marketing the thing you love or systemizing the thing you love will come easily. If you start with process, then you will very quickly get weighed down by that and not be able to sustain it. So I want to show you the values that I founded my business on and talk a bit about how I've embedded them in the sense of really feeling now that I've got a team who are on board with those values. And then I want to talk about a structure, a four-part structure for training people in your business that should be applicable whatever your values are, because it's not for me here to tell you your values. That's for you to do, obviously. But let's just start with what I've done. On the door of the toilet, for everyone to see at some point during their working day, is this old laminated value statement that's been around for quite some time. Pause this here if you want to have a good look at it. So we design, make and install fitted furniture. What we're really all about is the people side of things. One of the proudest moments of my time in business was when I walked into the old garage workshop and I saw that Brady, my apprentice at the time, had taken an old offcut of MDF and had written with a Sharpie pen, totally unprovoked by me, he'd written out every one of those values. And I was so pleased to think that he had taken them on board, because I'd never taken a particularly heavy-handed approach. I'd said, these are my values, this is how I want to do business. And it was tremendously gratifying to realize that he'd seen value in them and actually wanted them to be up in front of him as he was sanding that MDF or cutting that pocket hole joint or whatever he was doing. So that was a bit of a key to me, that if I display these values, if I do my best, sometimes imperfectly, to live them out, if my staff see me interacting with my customers with integrity, interacting with them with their interests in heart, prioritizing relationship, if they see me pursuing innovation and efficiency, and then they also see those things written on the wall, they start to know deep in their mind, perhaps even in their heart, this is what this business is about. And I quite like being a part of that, because that could be a part of my working identity too. You manage to do that, you start to build quite a powerful team, and a team that will be able to weather the storms of the inevitable fallouts and disagreements and personal troubles that lead us to sometimes snapping at each other or sometimes drifting off course. This could be the anchor that can help that team move forward together. Okay, so we've talked about a foundation for a healthy working environment, a place where people will want to work and as a result be engaged and productive. Now I want to unpack for you what this part of our business is all about. Not my idea, but something that I've tried to embed in the business. This is a 4-square process of learning. Now, the steps you see written out on there are from the point of view of the teacher or the leader. Let's work this through, but look also from the point of view of the student. Now, this applies really well to taking on an apprentice, but it also applies to everyone in the business with every task they do. Let's take this relatively simple task of assembling one of these drawer boxes as an example. We're taking on a couple new apprentices soon, and we're going to be working them through this. Step 1, I do, you watch. They'll be coming in, they'll be tasked with basic necessary tasks like sweeping up, making the tea, but I'm going to make it very clear to them that I expect them to be conscious of being in that first step on a number of future learning tasks. So I want them to keep their eyes open. So if I or Matt or Brady are making these drawer boxes, we might just say, just come have a little look at this, see what I'm doing. A minimum of pressure, a minimum of over-explanation of what these things are and why they go together and why we've made certain choices. We're just going to do it. We're going to assemble it. We're going to let them see that. We're going to let them see how we handle the drill driver. A lot of things that will be observed by a teachable person better than they can be taught in words. And at that stage, I as the one who knows the process, you watch. Where the learner is at that stage is in a state of unconscious incompetence. So that's step 1 for the learner. They don't yet know how little they know. Many young people will come to a task and assume that they know a lot, and it's only as they handle the fixing and realize how easy it is to get the drill bit jammed in it, or to misalign something, or to accidentally damage a corner. It's only as they eventually do it that they will start to realize their incompetence, and that's what tends to happen in step 2. So step 2, I do, you help. This is the stage for the learner of conscious incompetence. And I'm not going to put them under great pressure to do stuff they can't yet do, but I'm going to say, look, come and help. Pass me the fixing, pass me the drill. I'll hold this square. Could you just have a go at tightening it up? Could you just put these in the cart and move them down to where they need to go? That's step 2. The learner is getting involved and slowly learning how little they know and how what looked easy is not actually quite as easy as it first appeared. So step 3, and this wouldn't all happen in a day by any means, and depending on the task, it may be days, it may be weeks or months down the line. It may also depend on the aptitude of that person and where their area of interest is. if someone clearly is desperate to get making stuff and asking all the right questions, we'll move them along that process quicker. If they keep eyeballing the CNC and the computer, we might go, okay, let's just start this 4-square process over there and see how quickly you can move along through it. So step 3, you do, I help. Let's say that we've assembled a bunch of drawer boxes and then we just have all the parts ready and we say, okay, your turn. You just have a crack at it, but I'll be on hand. If you need to ask me anything, I can help you. I can just clarify that this is the front and this is the back and so on. And at that stage, the learner is reaching conscious competence. They start to feel that they know how to do something and they're good at it. They can very clearly remember not so long ago when they were slipping with the drill driver, or they were rounding corners over when planing or sanding, and they can gain tremendous satisfaction from reaching that stage 3 of knowing that they're getting good at something. Perhaps you can guess where they get to on stage 4. So from the teacher's point of view, you do, I watch. The teacher now is stepping back. The watching might happen from another workstation, just the occasional lifting of their eyes as they're doing their own thing. And the learner is now reaching the stage of unconscious competence. And that's when we get good at a skill, that's where we get to. And when we get to that stage, we run the risk of forgetting quite how difficult things can be for a new learner. And we must guard against that, because we don't want to be arrogant or abrasive or too easily frustrated with someone who just has a hell of a time trying to get this pocket hole screw in without this slipping way up off flush, you know. Because it seems so easy to us now because we've reached unconscious competence, stage 4. And the great thing, I suppose, about teaching people is you just keep going through that square and you see people coming up through the square themselves, and you get to become conscious again of your competence and have the pleasure of seeing somebody go from the discouragement of conscious incompetence at stage 2 to the flow state of unconscious competence at stage 4. So I hope you found that interesting. That is part of our values. That's part of how we want to teach people at Freebird. And I'm sure it's applicable to you if you're looking to train up staff as well. So please do feedback on anything that's been of interest to you in this video. I do love to hear feedback, and I like to know if I'm hitting the mark with at least some of my viewers on the content I'm producing. I wish you a very successful 2024. Remember, success is what you consider to be success. It's not what success looks like for someone else. Keep living your values. Take some time to really think about what they are, and best of luck embedding them into what you do.